Welcome to my channel. Top 4 Washington Quarter Dollar Coins. What if one of these 4 Washington Quarter Dollar coins is hiding a secret that most people completely overlook? Today, we're counting down 4 incredible Washington quarters, but there's a twist. I won't reveal their years just yet. Each coin has its own story, its own mystery, and one of them might surprise you the most. Coming in at number 4, we have a quarter that looks ordinary at first glance, but appearances can be deceiving. At number 3, there's a coin with a fascinating background that collectors often talk about. Number 2 is even more interesting, with details that could make it stand out from millions of other quarters. And finally, number 1, the biggest surprise of today's countdown. Could it be rare? Could it be valuable? Or is there another hidden reason collectors search for it? Stay with me until the end as we reveal the years, history, mint marks, and collector facts behind all 4 of these Washington Quarter Dollar coins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with which coin you think will take the number 1 spot. Now, are you ready to discover the secrets behind these amazing quarters? Let's get started. Fire. Today, we begin our countdown with a coin that many people spend without a second thought. The 1982 Washington Quarter Dollar. But what if I told you that this ordinary-looking quarter carries a story of uncertainty, economic pressure, and one of the most fascinating periods in modern American coin history? Imagine this. It's 1982. America is facing economic challenges. Inflation has shaken the country. Industries are struggling. Families are watching every dollar they spend. Meanwhile, inside the United States Mint, millions of quarters are being produced every day. To most people, these coins are nothing more than pocket change. But hidden behind this small piece of metal is a story that few collectors truly understand. As these quarters rolled off the production lines, nobody imagined that decades later collectors around the world would be examining them under magnifying glasses, searching for rare varieties, mint errors, and hidden details. And that's where the mystery begins. What makes the 1982 Washington quarter so interesting? Why do some collectors spend years searching through old coin jars looking for one? And could there be a valuable example hiding in plain sight? The answers may surprise you. Designed with the famous portrait of George Washington, this quarter continued a tradition that had already lasted for nearly 50 years. Yet 1982 was different. Very different. The United States Mint was going through changes, and several unusual circumstances would make certain 1982 quarters far more desirable than others. As the years passed, many of these coins entered circulation and suffered heavy wear. Scratches, dents, damage, but a few escaped untouched. Those surviving examples would eventually become treasures for serious collectors. Now imagine finding one in an old family coin collection. A coin that sat unnoticed for decades. A coin that everyone else ignored. A coin whose true story was waiting to be discovered. And this is only the beginning. Because in the next part of our story, we're going to uncover the mint marks, collector secrets, rare varieties, and the surprising values that have made the 1982 Washington quarter one of the most talked about modern quarters among coin enthusiasts. So stay with me until the end. Because the biggest surprise about this coin is still waiting to be revealed. As the 1982 Washington quarter continued circulating across America, millions of people used it every day without giving it a second thought. It passed through grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, and countless hands across the country. But while most people saw only 25 cents, collectors saw something completely different. They saw clues, mysteries, and possibilities. You see, by the early 1980s, coin collecting had become increasingly popular. Collectors were paying closer attention to mint marks, production quality, and unusual varieties than ever before. And that's when an interesting discovery began to emerge. Many 1982 quarters had been heavily used in circulation, making high-quality examples surprisingly difficult to find years later. Think about that for a moment. A coin produced in the hundreds of millions should be easy to find. Yet finding one in exceptional condition became a real challenge. Every scratch told a story. Every worn edge revealed years of circulation. And every surviving uncirculated example became more desirable. Then came the hunt. Collectors started searching through old piggy banks, coin rolls, and family collections. Some searched for months. Others searched for years. all hoping to uncover a 1982 quarter with extraordinary quality or a unique characteristic. But the story doesn't end there. Because some collectors believe the true excitement comes from the unexpected. A small die crack, an unusual strike, a minting error overlooked for decades. These tiny details can transform an ordinary coin into something far more interesting. And that possibility keeps the mystery alive. Imagine sitting at a table late at night, examining a pile of quarters under a bright light. Most appear ordinary, until one catches your attention. The shine is different, the details seem sharper, the condition appears better than the rest. Could this be the one? That question has driven collectors for decades. The portrait of George Washington stands proudly on the front of the coin, representing strength, leadership, and American history. Meanwhile, the eagle on the reverse reminds us of an era before the state quarters program completely changed the design of American quarters. In many ways, the 1982 Washington quarter represents the end of a classic chapter in U.S. coinage. A time when quarters looked familiar generation after generation. A time before dramatic design changes captured the attention of the public. And perhaps that's why collectors continue to appreciate these coins today. They are more than just currency. They are pieces of history. Small metal time capsules that connect us to another era. But here's the biggest question of all. What if one of these quarters survived in remarkable condition? What if it spent decades protected from circulation? What if it remained hidden while countless others became worn and damaged? That possibility is exactly what keeps collectors searching. Because sometimes the most valuable discoveries are hiding in the places we least expect. And as we move closer to uncovering the final secrets of the 1982 Washington quarter, one thing becomes clear. This is far more than just a 25-cent coin. It's a story of history, mystery, survival, and discovery. And the final chapter is still waiting to be revealed. Tonight, we travel back to a year that seemed ordinary. A year when millions of Americans carried the same coin in their pockets. A year when a single quarter quietly entered circulation without attracting much attention. That coin was the 1995 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it looks like any other quarter. 25 cents. A portrait of George Washington. A familiar design seen by millions every day. But what if I told you that behind this ordinary appearance lies a fascinating story of history, mystery, and discovery? Imagine yourself standing inside the Philadelphia Mint in 1995. Massive machines roar throughout the building. Metal blanks move through production lines at incredible speed. Workers carefully monitor every stage of the minting process. And among the millions of coins being struck that year, the 1995 Washington quarter begins its journey. No one knew where these coins would end up. Some would travel across entire states. Some would sit quietly in cash registers. Others would disappear into old drawers, forgotten for decades. Yet every one of them carried a piece of American history. As these quarters entered circulation, America itself was changing. Technology was advancing. The internet was beginning to enter homes. A new generation was emerging. And through it all, the Washington quarter remained a trusted part of everyday life. People used it to buy newspapers, pay parking meters, make phone calls from public telephones, and purchase snacks from vending machines. But years later, collectors would begin asking a different question. Could some of these ordinary-looking quarters be more special than anyone realized? That question sparked a hunt. A hunt that continues even today. Collectors searched through bank rolls, old collections, family coin jars, hoping to discover a hidden treasure among ordinary change. Most found nothing unusual, but every once in a while, someone would uncover a remarkably preserved example. A quarter that somehow escaped decades of wear. A quarter whose details remained sharp and beautiful. A quarter that looked almost as fresh as the day it was minted. And that's when excitement began to grow. Because condition matters. Sometimes a coin worth only 25 cents can become much more desirable simply because it survived in extraordinary condition. But there was another mystery. Some collectors began carefully examining quarters for unusual minting characteristics. Tiny differences, unexpected marks, interesting varieties. The kind of details most people never notice. The kind of details that can turn a simple coin into a collector's prize. Imagine finding an old box in your attic. Inside are coins untouched for years. You begin sorting through them one by one. Then suddenly, A 1995p Washington quarter catches your eye. Could it be special? Could it be rare? Could it have survived untouched since the day it left the Philadelphia Mint? That moment of uncertainty is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Because every coin tells a story. And every story begins with a discovery. The portrait of George Washington on the front reminds us of America's first president. A symbol of leadership and perseverance. Meanwhile, the reverse design featuring the eagle represents strength and national pride. Together, these designs create one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Yet despite being so common, the 1995p quarter continues to fascinate collectors. Not because every coin is rare, but because every coin holds the possibility of something unexpected. And sometimes, the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. As we move closer to uncovering the final secrets of the 1995p Washington quarter dollar, one question remains unanswered. What if the next quarter you find is the one collectors have been searching for all along? Stay with me. What if I told you that an ordinary 1992 Washington quarter dollar could be carrying a story that began more than 200 years ago? A story of history, a story of mystery, and a story that still fascinates coin collectors today. Today, we're uncovering the secrets of the 1992 Washington quarter dollar. But before we reveal what makes this coin so special, let's travel back in time. Imagine America in 1992. The internet was still new to most people. Mobile phones were rare. The world was changing rapidly. And every day, millions of Americans carried quarters in their pockets without realizing that each coin represented a small piece of history. Deep inside the United States Mint, powerful machines worked day and night. Metal blanks moved through giant presses. The sound of machinery echoed through the building. And among millions of coins being struck that year, the 1992 Washington quarter quietly began its journey. Nobody paid much attention to it. After all, it was only 25 cents. Or was it? As these quarters entered circulation, they traveled everywhere. From busy city streets to small town stores. From cash registers to coin jars. From vending machines to family collections. Every coin began collecting stories. Every scratch had a history. Every mark told a tale. But years later, collectors started noticing something interesting. Finding a beautiful 1992 quarter was becoming harder than expected. Most examples had spent years in circulation. They became worn, damaged, scratched. Their original shine slowly disappeared. Yet somewhere out there, a few survived in remarkable condition. And that's where the mystery begins. Imagine opening an old box that hasn't been touched for decades. Inside are dozens of forgotten coins. You start examining them one by one. Suddenly, a 1992 Washington quarter catches your eye. Its details look sharp. Its surface still shines. Its appearance seems different from the others. Could this be a special coin? Could it be worth more than face value? Or is there another secret waiting to be discovered? Questions like these have inspired collectors for years. The front of the coin proudly displays George Washington, America's first president. His portrait had already appeared on quarters for decades. Millions of people recognized the design instantly. Yet few stopped to appreciate the history behind it. Washington represented leadership, courage, and determination. Qualities that helped shape an entire nation. On the reverse side stood the famous eagle. Strong, proud, powerful, a symbol recognized around the world. Together, these designs created one of America's most iconic coins. But the real excitement wasn't just the design. It was the possibility of finding something unusual. Collectors began carefully examining 1992 quarters under magnification. Searching for tiny details, unexpected characteristics, rare minting varieties. Anything that might separate one coin from millions of others. And sometimes, they found exactly that. A strange mark, an unusual strike, a small minting error, tiny details that most people would never notice. Yet those details could completely change the coin's story. That possibility transformed ordinary coin hunting into an adventure. Imagine searching through hundreds of quarters. Then thousands. Most appear identical, until one suddenly stands out. Your heart starts racing. You take a closer look. Could this be the discovery you've been searching for? This feeling is what drives collectors around the world. The excitement of the unknown. The thrill of discovery. The possibility that treasure may be hiding in plain sight. As the years passed, the 1992 Washington quarter became more than just a coin. It became a time capsule. A reminder of an era before smartphones, before social media, before the digital world changed everyday life forever. Every surviving quarter carried a connection to that moment in history. And perhaps that's why collectors continue searching for them today. Not because every 1992 quarter is rare. Not because every coin is valuable. But because every coin has a story. A story waiting to be discovered. A story waiting to be told. And somewhere right now, a forgotten 1992 Washington quarter may still be sitting inside an old drawer. A dusty coin jar, or a family collection, waiting for someone to recognize its history. Waiting for someone to uncover its secrets. And waiting for its next chapter to begin. Clapperboard, but the biggest mystery of the 1992 Washington quarter dollar is still ahead. Stay tuned, because the story isn't over yet. Fire. What if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1998 Washington quarter dollar could be carrying a story that began decades before it was ever minted? A story filled with mystery, history, and a countdown to one of the biggest changes in American coinage. Today, we're uncovering the secrets of the 1998 Washington quarter dollar. But before we reveal why collectors still talk about this coin today, let's travel back to a fascinating moment in history. Imagine the year 1998. America was standing on the edge of a new millennium. The world was preparing for the year 2000. Technology was advancing rapidly. The internet was becoming a part of everyday life. And deep inside the United States Mint, millions of Washington quarters were being struck day and night. Among them was the 1998 quarter. At first glance, it seemed completely ordinary. Just 25 cents. Just another coin. Just another piece of pocket change. Or was it? Because unknown to most Americans, the 1998 Washington quarter would become one of the final chapters of a historic era. An era that had lasted for generations. An era that was about to change forever. As the giant presses thundered inside the mint, freshly struck quarters rolled off the production lines. Bright, shiny, perfect, ready to begin their journey across America. Nobody knew where these coins would travel. Some would end up in busy city stores. Some would cross state lines. Some would sit forgotten in jars and drawers for decades. And some would eventually find their way into the hands of collectors. But that story was still waiting to be written. The front of the coin featured the familiar portrait of George Washington. A design Americans had recognized for generations. A symbol of leadership, strength, and history. On the reverse side stood the proud eagle. A design that represented freedom and national pride. For decades, Americans had carried this classic quarter design. Yet very few realized that its days were numbered. Because behind the scenes, a major transformation was already being planned. A transformation that would completely change the appearance of the quarter. But before that happened, the 1998 quarter quietly entered circulation. Millions of people spent it without a second thought. A quarter for a soda. A quarter for a newspaper. A quarter for a vending machine. The coin passed from hand to hand. Town to town. State to state. Collecting stories everywhere it went. Years later, collectors began looking back at 1998 with a different perspective. They realized that this coin represented the end of something special. The end of the classic Washington quarter era before the famous state quarters program arrived in 1999. Suddenly, the ordinary 1998 quarter didn't seem quite so ordinary anymore. It became a historical marker. A coin standing at the doorway between two different eras. And that's when the mystery deepened. Collectors started searching for high-grade examples. Coins with strong details, beautiful surfaces, original mint luster. Examples that had somehow escaped years of circulation damage. Finding one wasn't always easy. Most quarters had been used heavily. Scratches appeared, edges became worn, details faded, yet a small number survived almost untouched. And those coins began attracting attention. Imagine opening an old family coin collection. You carefully sort through dozens of quarters. Then suddenly, a brilliant 1998 Washington quarter appears. Its shine looks different. Its details seem sharper. Its condition appears remarkable. Your heart starts racing. Could this be a special example? Could this be a hidden treasure? That possibility is exactly what keeps collectors searching today. Because every coin offers a chance for discovery. Every coin offers a chance for surprise. And every coin has a story waiting to be uncovered. As years passed, another fascinating detail emerged. Some collectors began examining 1998 quarters under powerful magnification, searching for unusual characteristics, interesting die varieties, minting abnormalities, tiny details invisible to the naked eye. Most coins appeared normal, but every so often, something unusual would appear. A strange mark, an unexpected feature, a minor error, a small detail capable of transforming an ordinary coin into a collector's conversation piece. That possibility added even more excitement to the hunt. Suddenly, every quarter mattered. Every roll of coins became an adventure. Every discovery became a mystery waiting to be solved. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of the 1998 Washington quarter. Its value isn't measured only in money. It's measured in history, in curiosity, in the thrill of discovery. This coin witnessed the final moments of a classic design era. It survived the approach of a new millennium. And it became part of one of the most important transitions in modern American coin history. Today, somewhere in America, a forgotten 1998 Washington quarter may still be hiding. Inside an old drawer, a dusty coin album, a family collection, or even mixed in with ordinary change. Waiting for someone to discover it. Waiting for someone to tell its story. Waiting for someone to recognize its place in history. And now, as our journey through the top 4 Washington quarter dollar coins comes to an end, one final question remains. What if the next quarter you find isn't just another coin? What if it's a piece of history hiding in plain sight? Stay curious, keep searching, because your greatest coin discovery may still be waiting for you.